Hello, true gardeners. I know right now you are seeing such devastation in your gardens. This last week's freeze was just catastrophic. It was like the weather just threw out all the USDA plant zones and just said, whatever, everybody's freezing this year. And it's pretty devastating. So I wanted to do a short video. Even though I'm not home, I am on my family vacation. We go skiing every year, and we are here, and oddly enough, it's warmer here than it is in Florida. But I know that we're all facing just the worry of what's happening in our outdoor spaces that we've created, these beautiful paradises and gardens that we've put so much time, money, and effort into. And you're wondering what next, what to do now, how to recover. And so I thought I would shoot a short video just to explain to you guys what I plan to do day one when I get home, and more importantly, what not to do. So hopefully that helps you guys and myself on the same path to getting and helping our gardens reestablish. So the first thing I'd like to mention, more than likely you're seeing wilting on your plants, you're seeing browning on your fronds. Palm trees are usually safer in these cold snaps. However, to add insult to injury, Mother Nature threw massive winds our way. So our taller palm trees got hit just as hard as our smaller material, unfortunately, this year. And it caused a lot of devastation. If your palm trees are still upright, if they're still upright like this and they have not sagged, or the head or canopy has not tilted like this, that is a good sign. Now, there is still time to come. Sometimes it does take time for everything to really come into effect. You kind of don't know the real damage for, I would say, a good 3 to 4 weeks. By that point, you really know what's going to make it and what's not going to make it. And I'll kind of go into detail about that. On your palm trees, if you see, of course, the tilt, unfortunately, that tree is pretty much a goner. The crown of the tree is where the strength of the tree is. So once that center crown, if it starts to tilt, bend, or fall over, it's done. The whole tree will follow along suit very shortly. If it is still upright, and even if everything around it is brown, there is a good chance that it's going to come back. So it does take months and months. So we're talking June, July by the time you see a new crown of fronds coming through. But by that point, that tree will shed those older leaves if it's a self-cleaning tree. If not, you can cut them off. But you'll see all new green fronds coming out. Then you'll know, of course, that tree was salvageable. That tree made it. So that's going to be the case even with plant material. Plant material right now, you're still seeing the beginnings of the frost. As things start to warm up, you're going to see the next part of the ugly part of the frost, which means that those plants are going to continue to wilt down and turn brown. And over the next few weeks, you'll kind of start to see if it's going to have any kind of strength if it pops back. Same situation, they'll really start to mound down, sometimes completely fall over, and then never regain that kind of upright look to them. So you can, in about 3 weeks, just take your fingernail and scratch the lower sections of the trunks, the little stems on each of the bushes or plants. And then if it's still green in there, that means it's still alive. So don't give up hope, but do nothing yet. You want to wait until I would say mid to late March. I know that seems like a lot, but right now you're trying to avoid stressing the plant further. And having that old growth on there normally could take tension and put effort onto the plant or the tree, but right now it's adding protection. Right now it's adding a little bit of security to that plant and that tree. So leave it in place for a few more weeks and let it do its thing. Let it kind of hibernate, the good growth hibernate under the old growth. So but what you can do right now would be to water. So normally this time of the year, I have my water set to 3 days a week for maybe 15 minutes a zone. But right now, after the cold snap, you're going to want to revamp that. You're going to kind of want to give those roots, give those stems a lot of moisture, a little bit of help. So go ahead and pop that water on for every single day for 15 minutes if you're on an irrigation system. If you're not, go ahead and hand water, not necessarily the top of the plants, but down below at the base. If you're hand watering and you're going to do that, go ahead and water down below at the base, because what we're trying to do is get those roots that are still active, that are still alive, get them to pop back and get them to start realizing, okay, we're swelling with new life here, and then they're going to really take hold to that. Now, that being said, with water comes fungus. So knowing that you have to vamp up the water also means that you need to protect your new plants and your trees. So hit it with a liquid copper fungicide right away. So this week when I get home in 2 days, I'm going to hit everything with a liquid copper fungicide. I'll put the link in the description of the product that I use, so that might be helpful to you guys. But you definitely want to take it and I put it in a backpack sprayer. If you have a hand sprayer or whatever, use the mixture that says that tells you on the bottle. And then spray the whole tree, not just the canopy. Spray from the base all the way up to the center of the tree, like you're painting the whole tree. So you want to do that, and do the same thing with the plants. Just really get a good coating over top of everything with that liquid copper fungicide. And if you can do that right away as the temperatures warm up, you're going to get great success. I cannot wait to get home to do that, because I know with that heat rolling in, it's really going to do it's going to do an extra, wham bam thank you ma'am to my plants and trees, because the cold and then the warmth running through is just gonna be tough on your plants and trees. So the best thing you can do is kind of combat that as early as possible. So go ahead and hit that with some extra water, liquid copper fungicide, and then just wait at that point. The week after you've been watering every day, you hit it with that fungicide, your kind of things are just probably very little change, but you're getting into that second week time frame. That is the time to hit it with a pesticide treatment. When things are weak, when your plants and trees in the garden really weaken out, that's when the bugs come running. That's when all the pests, the bugs, the infestations, all of that kind of starts to take hold. So that is the perfect time to hit it with I use Bifenite. You can use neem oil or any other organic solution that you like. I just like to hit it with a really hard hitting product. So I'm going to use Bifenite when I get home on my plants. You can use it as a drench if it's just a certain 1 or 2 or 3 big species of plants or trees. But if it's a big garden like mine is, I'm going to use a spray bottle. So I use an ounce of that mixed in with a gallon of water, and then just spray everything, just like if I were using the fungicide. I'm just going to hit everything, the inside of the plants and trees, just the whole thing, and get a really good coverage on that, because that's going to be one of those things. That's one less thing that your plant and your tree has to fight back against while it's trying to recover. Just think of these plants. You're just kind of trying to give them some flu remedies as they're kind of recovering from this poor incident that they're dealing with. So that's going to give you a big impact. So a big benefit for getting them off to a really good start. A lot of times I hear people all over the place say fertilize, it's time to fertilize and give your plants and trees some nutrients. No, that's too much. You're going to really push way too much energy towards your plants and trees, and they're just not ready for that. They're still kind of coming out of their dormancy. They're really recovering. Do not fertilize at this point. You kind of want to wait until things really warm up on a consistent level to fertilize. So I'm probably not going to hit my fertilizer until late May, early April, to really kind of get get it into a safe spot. The one thing I don't know if I stressed enough in this video is do not trim anything. Do nothing when it comes to trimming at this point. You are not going to want to trim until we're absolutely certain that there is no cold snaps going to happen. So mid-March, you definitely want to trim. And what you want to do when you're doing it with palm fronds, it's pretty easy to see, right? You can trim off anything that's brown. But when it comes to plants are going to be sometimes brown from the top all the way to the bottom. So what you want to do is you want to really kind of see, like scrape it off with your nails, see where the green stem, where it stops being green and goes to brown. That's your line. The top section of that plant, if you scrape it at the top section, it's going to be all brown. Once it gets to that green section, that's the area where new growth happens. So you trim right there. You use your hand clippers. This is the time where it's really important to use hand clippers, because you want to make sure you're a surgeon right now. You're just cutting away the dead. So you want to take this time and make sure that you get off as much of that old growth as possible, because what will happen right where the new growth starts to grow in, it'll kind of flush back out and it'll be beautiful so much faster. I've seen where people take it all the way down to the bottom, or don't take enough of it and do small sections, and then you've got brown, and then you've got bushes growing out on the sides because they can't grow out on the top. They're not kind of there yet. So really pay attention as you're looking through that. If it's a big area, just clip till you start seeing the green. Once you see the green on the inside of the stem, then you know that that's all live material, and then that's your new base. That's where you kind of everything's going to flush back from that point. So I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I can tell you guys that might be helpful at this point. you know, I guess the next thing would just be don't be discouraged. I mean, I know that this has happened, and I know that we have put money and time and effort into our beautiful gardens and creating our beautiful spaces. And don't let these little freak temperatures, you know, stop you from enjoying where you live. I had a client call me and said, I was in for the hurricanes. I understood that was part of Florida, but I did not know we were going to get snow. It's like, yeah, no, me either. And I'm literally a native Floridian. So, you know, it's a scary thing. It's an awful thing. And just bear with your garden at this point. The more you baby it right now over these next few weeks, you're just going to see such a nice rebound. Don't be in a hurry to trim back and clear everything out as much as you want to. This is the time for patience. So, all right, gardeners, I think that's going to do it for me. I will be back in the next few days with another video on how I'm going to do some of these things in my very own garden, so that way you guys get to see it in real life, and hopefully that really helps you understand exactly the processes that I take to kind of bring my garden back to life, and it helps us do that together. So I wish you all the best of luck, and take care, and I will see you in the very next video.